Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 31, 2023. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has received an assortment of equipment to better detect and prosecute cybercriminals. The equipment, which cost $30 million, were provided under the Ministry of National Security's ProCyber Project. They will benefit the Communication, Forensic and Cybercrime Division, CFCD.
Project Cyber is a multi-year effort providing strategic resources to CFCD to increase the department's investigative capacity. The project involves specific focus on technology and infrastructure improvement, which is intended to impact our 4 key areas, namely training and development, technical equipment, software licensing, workspace renovation.
Stressing that cybercrime is a global problem, the National Security Minister says government continues to keep abreast of the dangers and put measures in place to mitigate the effects locally. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the equipment, which represents the second phase of delivery, will redound to a more capable division over time.
As a force, we are ever changing and ever growing in our ability to incorporate these technologies. The area of cyber forensics, communication forensics is a growing, ever growing aspect of what we do as a police force, particularly our criminal investigations and otherwise.
Jamaica is steadily moving closer to becoming a cashless society with the recent official launch of MyCash, a digital wallet by Paymaster. It was launched at the AC Marriott Hotel in Kingston recently. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Darrell Vaz has hailed the newly confirmed fintech organization for providing another option for accessing digital financial services. He says all Jamaicans need and deserve access to digital financial services to do business, make their everyday lives easier, and contribute to the local economy. MyCash received the all-clear signal from the Bank of Jamaica recently after completing a mandatory pilot period in the BOJ's fintech regulatory sandbox. Like other digital wallets, MyCash allows for better financial management by enabling users to keep coupons, cards, and IDs easily accessible in one place. It also facilitates contactless checkout and improves citizens' economic security by minimizing theft and reducing the need to travel with cards or cash. Minister Vaz describes the technology as a world-class product that meets local and international standards. He reiterates that the Technology Ministry is reviewing the Cybercrimes Act and continues to progress towards the full implementation of the Data Protection Act 2020 to protect users of technologies such as this. The MyCash app is available for download on the Apple and Google Play stores. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort is asserting that the membership of the Constitutional Reform Committee reflects the highly technical and complex work that will be needed to transition Jamaica to a republic. During this week's sitting of the House of Representatives, the minister addressed concerns about the lawyer-centric makeup of the new committee.
Although not everyone who is a lawyer by profession is on the committee in that role, I invite those who have questioned the wisdom of having so many lawyers on this committee to consider that lawyers are always helpful in ensuring that all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed, that due process is adhered to in our public consultations, procedural fairness and transparency prevail throughout the entire process. Madam Speaker, lawyers are trained to be especially attentive to the values of a democratic process of constitution making.
The minister says a subcommittee will be created made up of stakeholders from various sectors of society. She adds that a public engagement subcommittee has been established and it will include members of the public who are not lawyers. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie is urging the country's mayors to do all they can to make poor relief work for all citizens who need it.
We should be united around poor relief. The name of it, poor relief. And why is it that we should be united? Hunger knows no party. Poverty knows no leader. And if we are tasked with the responsibility of offering leadership, let us do it without compromising our principle when it comes down to it.
Among the suite of services offered by the Poor Relief Department is a children's program. Minister Mackenzie says investments have been made by his ministry to advance the educational pursuits of children. He was speaking at the Board of Supervision's annual awards and recognition ceremony held recently. Nearly 50 students were awarded in several categories for attaining passes in PEP, CSEC, and CAPE. The local government minister reminded the awardees that education had no expiration date.
Education is the only way out of your crisis in this country. There is nothing else that can save you. But how can you make education work for you? It begins with you. You have to commit yourselves to that kind of discipline that is going to be required.
Minister of Gender Olivia Grange says the findings from a recent study on the economic costs of violence against women and girls in Jamaica will support the crafting of an effective gender-responsive budget going forward. The pilot study, which is the first of its kind in the Caribbean, was recently launched by the United Nations. It finds that approximately $16 billion in economic loss is attributed to the violence against women and girls in Jamaica. This amount covers support systems, legal aid, medical care, shelter, medication, as well as counseling and protection for the survivors.
This study will definitely pivot our work in the gender portfolio. So, for example, the data on the cost of gender-based violence is broken down according to sectors. This study is really an important tool, and I will be using it to impact on our work and to make representation.
The minister's point was echoed by Tony-Ann Bradber, Caribbean representative at the UN Women's Multi-Country Office.
If we're going to do something, we need to do it properly. We need to make sure that it is going to influence people's lives. And this study helps make the case. It provides the evidence which will hopefully inform decision-making and justify the budget decisions that are required for effective response, yes, but prevention. It is costing Jamaica too much.
And finally, arrangements are being made to fast-track plans for a new home for 13-year-old burn victim Adriana Leng, who returned to Jamaica yesterday. The new house will be provided under the government's social housing program. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith gave the assurance at the welcoming ceremony for Adriana at the Norman Manley International Airport.
Mr. Wilson, Moreland Wilson, who is the MP, has been in contact with Mr. Lang, and they are working on ensuring that there is housing secured under the social housing program, on the HOPE program, and that process has started. He's working on the documentation with his dad, with Mr. Lang. So when he comes back in, they will finish that process and it will be expedited as quickly as possible.
Adriana sustained burns to more than 90% of her body after a fire gutted her Westmoreland home in September of last year. She is the lone survivor of the blaze that took the lives of her 3 younger brothers. With assistance from the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Health, San Mina Foundation, the United States Embassy, and other private entities, Adriana was able to receive treatment overseas.
We worked very quickly at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade when we understood from both San Mina Foundation and from the MP Moreland Wilson that there was a need to get Adriana immediate care. They had a 24-hour window, needed funding in order to airlift her out.
Adriana was flown to the United States by Trinity Air Ambulance with life-threatening injuries where she underwent multiple surgeries and rehabilitation.
Today is a day that is so emotional, but I'm so happy that I'm here with you guys that all put together and help me and my daughter. San Mina Foundation, Mr. Joseph, JMS Burn Center, and Shriners Hospital in Boston. Everybody that's come on board.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.